So hi, I know it's been a while. I had a crazy busy summer and actually so much has changed since I made my last video. I know these are like tutorials usually, but I'll just give you like a short little rundown on what the heck has been happening. I'll put timestamps on. If you're just here for the tutorial, just use those timestamps. Since my last video, I have moved into a new apartment. I love my apartment. It's everything and more. I had the most fun-filled, crazy busy, awesome summer, as I hope all of you guys did too. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of patterns. I did 3 patterns since I last made a video, so go check those out. I'll put the link to my Etsy for my patterns in the description. But yeah, so I've been having a lot of fun doing that. It's obviously different and a lot more work than just a plain old video. But I do love it. I love the process. I love meeting like so many awesome, amazing people. Having my designs get like so much love is really surreal, but also so exciting and fun that like people actually like what I design, and it's just really, it's a really fun time and very validating and awesome and amazing. So yeah, today I'm going to be doing my long-awaited mitten pattern. I say long-awaited because I've been awaiting it, honestly. It's just something that's been sitting in my back pocket for like over a year, and I think it's just the perfect time to do it and get back into this whole video making thing. So yeah, today I'm going to be making the mitten pattern, and I'm not very creative with names, and I've kind of sat down and thought about it for too long, to the point where nothing I came up with for the name sounded good to me anymore. So the mitten pattern, that's what we have today, and it kind of describes what it is. It's a very basic mitten pattern. It's the crochet mitten pattern that you'll need for whenever. You can customize it, add, you know, stripes, different colors, make it longer, make it shorter. Really just do it up however you see fit. Make the cuff shorter and longer, add scallops on the edge. Yeah, today I'm gonna be doing just stripes, and I'll show you. This is the mitten I'll be making today. And this pair specifically is actually a gift for my friend Al. Hi Al. Hopefully these already got to you in the mail, but yeah, Al always has cold hands. So if you have, you know, someone in your life that constantly has cold hands, constantly needs mittens or gloves or something, get started on this project. It really only took me like a couple hours to make these 2 mittens. So it's mid-November. If you're still looking to make something for people in your lives for gifts and stuff, this is something you can do that won't really stress you out, and like you won't be doing it up to the last minute. In addition to having this video tutorial, I'll also be making a written pattern. So you can find that once again in the description. I'll put it down there. But you know, some people just would rather read it. Some people would also like to see the video for a little extra help, but I'll be making both. So yeah, grab your little drink of choice, a little coffee and a Snoopy mug, anything that makes you happy. Let's get started. All right, as far as materials go, you don't really need that much. This is a good stash buster project, so I'm using kind of scraps. For the orange, I have a Malabrigo, really nice orange color, chunky, and then I'm using this Barocco vintage DK for the cream stripes in between. So the main yarn, you're gonna want a weight 4 yarn, have it be a little chunky. We're also gonna use a 5.5mm hook, scissors, darning needle for weaving the ends in, and that's it. You don't need measuring tape. You're not gonna measure anything. This pattern also is made for a standard size women's hand, so it's specifically my hands. which I think I have pretty standard size hands, but throughout the pattern, I'll let you know if you're making these for, you know, if you have like longer fingers, shorter fingers, whatever, there are ways to easily make it to your size. So like I said, this is the mitten that I'm gonna be making. It's, you know, mostly orange with this cream stripe. If you wanna make this exact mitten, I'll be telling you when to switch colors and that kind of thing, but you can make them obviously just one color. You can do like every other row of stripe, totally up to you. So I'm gonna be starting with my main color. So first thing you're gonna do is magic circle. This is how I make mine. Everybody does them a little differently. All right, and then you're gonna chain one, and that does not count as a half double crochet. And then you're gonna put 7 half double crochets in your magic circle. At 7, now you're going to take your tail and tighten the circle. So you got the magic circle tightened up. You will slip stitch into the first half double crochet. Now I'm not a huge fan of weaving ends in, so at this point I like to tie off this end and then weave it in as I go. So I'm gonna make sure this is nice and tight, and then tie this off by just chaining 2, and then make sure this is nice and tight so it doesn't come undone. And now I'm gonna just crochet this behind my half double crochets. So row 2, we have our chain 1, that does not count as a half double crochet. Now we're gonna place 2 half double crochets in each stitch. So then I did 7 increases, and I'm going to slip stitch into my first stitch. So now you should have 14. So for row 3, we'll chain 1. We're going to do 2 half double crochets in one stitch as an increase, and then a half double crochet in the next. So 1, 2 in the first stitch, and then a half double crochet in the next, just like that. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So 2 and 1. Okay, and we got back around to the beginning, slip stitch in the top of that first one, and that's our row 3. Chain 1 for the beginning of row 4. In row 4 is going to be 2 half double crochets as our first stitch increase, and then half double crochet, half double crochet. So first one is an increase, and then one half double crochet and another, and we're going to continue that all the way around. And then slip stitch into the top of the first one, and that is your row 4. Okay, now we are done with our increase rows. For the next 10 rows, we're just going to do regular half double crochet rows with no increase. So I'm going to chain 1 to start our row, do 1 half double crochet in each stitch. Alright, we get back around to the beginning, slip stitch. So at this point you should have 4 increase rows and 1 regular. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to change colors now. My mittens are going to be 5 orange rows and 1 cream row. I'll show you how I change colors. Everybody does this differently. So I just slip stitched into the top of my first half double crochet, and I'm going to add in that one, and then chain 1, and then pull this orange tail really tight so that it looks like this. And I like to tuck this tail in as I go. So like I said, we're gonna do 9 more rows of regular half double crochet. So here's my cream row. And I'm just leaving this orange tail where it is because I'm gonna pick up on it the row after my cream one. And since this cream yarn isn't exactly a weight 4, I think it's a weight 3 DK, so I'm gonna just keep my tension a little looser so that this row doesn't get tighter and make a weird cinch in the mitten. We get around to the beginning, slip stitch into that first half double crochet, and make sure you pull that orange really tight, and you get a pretty even row right there, and you can't really tell where it begins. All right, now I'm going to switch back to orange for row 7. I drop my cream one, pick up this orange one from behind, pull through, making sure the back is tight there, and then pull tight my cream one, chain 1, and there you have the start of the next row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 increase rows, 1, 2 regular half double crochet body rows. So I got 8 more regular half double crochet rows to go. So like I said, I don't like having ends to weave in, so I'm gonna deal with this cream one right now. So it's pulled nice and tight. Leave a little tail and cut it. I lost my tiny little scissors that I usually keep in my crochet bag, so I've been using a seam ripper, which is kind of odd, but that's where I'm at right now. So, okay. Now go on the inside and give it a chain 2, pull the tail through, and then carefully tighten it up. All right, then I'm gonna go back in, and then I'll be just weaving this in behind my stitches. So I have my chain 1, and I'm going to half double crochet all the way around. And slip stitch into the top of the first one. So that is my 3rd row of regular half double crochets, and I need 7 more. Okay, and I just slip stitched onto my 5th row, or 5 rows of orange. So for my stripes that I'm going for, I'm going to switch to cream, because I'm doing 5 orange rows, 1 cream row. And like I said, everybody has different ways of changing colors. This is just my preferred method, because I feel like it looks pretty straight. Like, you can, sometimes when you switch colors, you can really see it, and I just don't like when it's like super apparent. I still haven't found a way that's perfect, because I don't know if there is one. If there is one, let me know. I'm gonna need that immediately. But this is just the way I like to do it. And that's the beauty of crocheting, is you don't have to do it the way that everybody else does it. So a couple years ago, me and my mom were doing this thing where every Wednesday we would go to grab coffee and try a new coffee place and a new yarn shop every Wednesday, because I live in Minnesota, and Minnesota has, specifically the Twin Cities, has just an abundance of adorable, amazing local yarn shops. We kind of like dropped the ball on that, but I'm hoping to get back to it, because now I have been to every single one in the Twin Cities area, and there are a lot of them. Last year I did the shop hop, the yarn shop hop. That was insanely fun. I think I made maybe 1 video of it on my Instagram, and I meant to do more, but then I didn't, and that's just me. I think we should pick that back up again, and I'd love to do like a video of each yarn shop so I can show everybody where I love to go, because I often get questions about where I get my yarn, or the best places to get a certain type of yarn. Honestly, I do go to different yarn places. It's not always the same place. I frequent some of my favorites more. Yeah, I was thinking I would start up a series of that, like go to each yarn shop, tell you about them, do a little like vlog style. I would still keep my tutorials in the mix. You would just get an added bonus of a vlog type video of these different yarn shops in Minnesota. And even if you don't live in Minnesota, I feel like I love to just watch people bop around to different fiber arts places. So maybe look out for that in the future. We just did our 10th half double crochet row and slip stitched into the top of our first one. For our thumb hole, you're going to start with chain 6, 2, 6, and skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the 5th one. So that will give our thumb hole 10 stitches total. So that's our foundation thumb. Now for row 1, you chain 1, doesn't count as a stitch. Turn your work. And now we're going to do half double crochet all around, so 10 half double crochets. So you skip your slip stitch, so not this one, but this one. And half double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then for this 6th one, I do this kind of weird special decrease. You don't have to do it, but I feel like it closes up this hole better. Otherwise you end up with a little bit of a hole here. So for my 6th one on the chain here, I'm going to yarn over and just half double crochet 2 together with my last chain and this stitch that I slip stitched into. So I'm going to yarn over, insert, pull up, and then insert into this stitch that we started on, if that makes sense. Pull up loop, yarn over, and pull through 4. And then it just closes up this gap here. And then we got 4 stitches left, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that will give us 10 stitches on our thumb. You got back to the beginning and then slip stitch into the top of your first half double crochet. So that's row 1 of the thumb. And now we're going to do 4 more just regular half double crochet rows. So chain 1 to start your row, doesn't count as a half double crochet, and then place 1 half double crochet in each stitch. So it's going to be 10 all around. Slip stitch, that's 2. Now I'm going to change colors and do a cream row. So that's our first row, 2, 3, 4 rows of half double crochet 10. Now our 5th row, I'm going to switch back colors real quick. Chain 1 to start the row. Our 5th row is going to be a decrease row to kind of like close up the top of the thumb hole. So we're going to do half double crochet 2 together all around. Tighten this and then tie it off. Especially in the thumb, I really don't like weaving in ends because it's so tiny that having to go back in and like flip it inside out, try to get in there is kind of tricky for me. Also, I'm just like so lazy, so I'm just gonna weave it in. Okay, so row 5 of the thumb is gonna be decreasing. So yarn over, insert into your first, pull up a loop, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 4. So that's our decrease, and we're going to do that 4 more times. Last time. Sometimes that little tail can be so tricky, a little annoying, but here we are. Okay, and then slip stitch into the top of your first half double crochet, 2 together, and then you can fasten it off. You want to leave a long tail. Tighten it up. Now what you're gonna do is weave this tail around the top of your stitches so that you can pull it tight closed. So this is how I do it. You go through the first stitch, pull it through, next stitch, pull it through, and do it with all 5 stitches. So now you have it weaved around the outside of the stitches. And then I put my hook up through the middle, through this hole, pull it down, and then yank it inside out. Pull it tight. You're gonna wanna weave these in right away, like I said, so then the rest of the mitten, it's harder to get back into the inside of the thumb. So I'm going to close it up real tight and then tighten it so that the thumb hole doesn't come open again. And then instead of a darning needle, I prefer to go in with just a smaller size hook. And then I'm going to, and like I said, you can weave in your ends absolutely whatever way you prefer. This is just my weirdo method that I've grown to like for some reason. And pull it down. Okay, so that one's weaved in. I'm gonna push my thumb back right side out. And then you can go ahead and try it on. And at this point, it should look like a regular old mitten missing the bottom half. So it should fit your thumb and up to your fingers like this, like a really weird like oven mitt, I guess. So now that it fits on your hand, you're going to attach your yarn again. I like to attach it like where my palm is so that the seam isn't on the outside. So I'm gonna attach it like right about here. And I'll chain one and then half double crochet into that same stitch because it does not count as a half double crochet. And then you're gonna half double crochet all the way around. And when we get to these little thumb junctions, I do another decrease. I'll show you what I mean, but it's just optional. I just like the way it looks because I feel like it makes it nice and tight and kind of cleans it up a little bit so there's no tiny holes, no looseness anywhere. So I'm half double crocheting regular. Okay, now I've gotten up to this little junction between my chain 6 of my thumb and the regular rows. So what I'm gonna do is half double crochet these two together. To just make sure there's no gap here. And then there should be 6 chains in my thumb. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th one, I'm gonna do the same thing and do a decrease here. So I'm going to insert, pull up a loop, and then with this chain that technically, you know, doesn't count with these because it was a slip stitch here. I'm going to insert, pull up a loop, and pull through. So then we close that one up too. All right, and then half double crochet back to your beginning. And then slip stitch into your first one. Okay, and that's row 3 of our palm. I have 1, 2, 3 rows of half double crochet on my palm, and I'm gonna switch colors because that's the pattern I've been using. For this row, you're going to be decreasing to make your mitten a little bit skinnier for where your, you know, hand gets skinnier towards your wrist. So you can start with the chain 1, doesn't count as a stitch, and you're going to half double crochet 1, half double crochet 2 into the next stitch, and in the 3rd and 4th stitches you're going to place a decrease, so half double crochet 2 together. Like so, and then you're going to repeat that all the way around. So 1 regular, 2, and then half double crochet 2 together. And stitch to the first one, and now I'm going to change back colors. Your fifth row, the row after your decrease, is going to be just a regular half double crochet row. So chain one, doesn't count as a stitch, and then half double crochet in each stitch. And then slip stitch to your first stitch. Okay, I put on a sweatshirt because I was cold, because Minnesota is cold. So your mitten should now fit like a regular mitten down to your wrist. If your mitten is like not long enough and you need to add a half double crochet row, go ahead and do that so that it meets your wrist. And now we're gonna work on the cuff. So like I said, this is gonna be up to you on how long you want it to be. So you can make it long for this one, for example. You can make it long and then like have it be a fold over type, like that, which is super cute. And I also did that on this one. Or you can have it be short and just like don't fold it, like so. Totally up to you. I'm gonna be doing a short one so that it doesn't fold, but yeah. Okay, so we just slip stitched into our first stitch. To begin the cuff, we're gonna chain. So for a short chain, I'm going to chain 6. For a long one that you wanna fold over, I would do 10 or 12. But so I'm doing a short one, so 6. Like so. Single crochet back down, so single crochet from in the second chain from the hook, and continue down, okay. So I chained 6 and then single crochet 5 back down the hook. And now I'm going to slip stitch 2 in the tops of my half double crochets. So 1, 2. Now I'm going to turn my work and single crochet back loop only to the end of this skein, which is 5. So 5 back loop only single crochets. Okay, and then chain 1 to start the row, turn. And now you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around your mitten. So single crochet back loop only until you get back up to the bottom of your mitten. And since I did a foundation chain of 6, that's 5 back loop only single crochets for me. And then slip stitch 2, 1, 2, turn your work, and then you skip those 2 slip stitches and single crochet back loop only out to the end. Alright, chain 1, turn your work. And you're going to continue doing that ribbing pattern all the way around. So I have one stitch left here. So I back loop only, single crocheted down toward the bottom of my mitten. I'm going to slip stitch 1 instead of 2 because I only have one left. Turn, skip that one slip stitch, and then back loop only, single crochet like we normally do. And when you reach the end, you're going to notice that we came back to the beginning, place the wrong sides together, and then slip stitch them closed. So back loop, slip, and do that 4 more times. Alright, and then fasten off once you reach the end. And then go ahead and put your hook up from the inside at the end, pull it under, and ta-da! It looks just like the ribbing. Alright, and then you just have one end to weave in, if you're me, because I have been weaving them in as I go. So, if you didn't weave your ends in as you went, obviously go back in, turn it inside out, weave them in. But otherwise, there is no left or right hand for these, so you just follow the instructions completely the same. And then you have 2 mittens. And it'll keep your hands warm all winter. Super simple, very basic, pretty much uses 3 stitches. And that's gonna do it. If you have any questions for me, please leave a comment. Also, if you DM me, I try really hard to look at my requests, but for some reason Instagram like puts them there and doesn't notify me. So if you DM me a question about the video, I sometimes won't get back to you for a really long time because I don't see them. So it's better to comment it on the video and I'll get those notifications way faster and try to get back to you faster. So thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, the written version of this pattern is on my Etsy. You can find it in my Instagram bio, or I'm gonna put the link to it in the description, so you can find it there. More videos to come. I'm gonna try to be more consistent with these. And like I said, keep doing my tutorials, but also throw in some fun ones that aren't tutorials, that are just things you can watch for fun. Look out for those. Thank you guys so much again, and please tag me in your mitten posts if you make them. Bye. Mwah.